We'll call our meeting to order. Everybody stand, we can say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then Alderman Betts is going to lead us in a word of prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Our Father in heaven, we are grateful for the day that you have given to each of us to have a day of life. And we thank you for your love to us. Lord, we thank you for the country that we are part of. Thank you, Lord, for the celebration that we have. And Lord, as we think about those who are suffering in Texas, I pray, Lord, that you would give your peace and your grace to those folks. I pray, Lord, that you would bring a healing touch to those lives. We thank you, Lord, for the first responders and those who have been so helpful. And I pray, Lord, that you would bless them, keep them safe as they continue. Now, Lord, as we take up the business of our city, we thank you, Lord, for our city. And I pray, Lord, that you always help us to make wise decisions. For we pray this in Jesus' name.
Amen. I'm going to ask our clerk, Ms. Tyra Wilson, if she would do our roll call.
Town of Vidalia Board of Aldermen roll call for the regular meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen dated July 8, 2025. Alderman Betts.
Present.
Alderman Gardner.
Here.
Alderman McCoy.
Present.
Alderman Probst. Alderman Smith. Mayor, let the record show that the quorum of the board is present and accounted for.
Okay, first thing we have to do is approve our minutes from our previous meetings. We had two meetings. We had a special meeting and our regular meeting. Has anybody got any questions on either one? I'm going to go ahead and take a motion, if I can, to approve both of those. Can we do that, council? I think we can, can't we, at one time? Approve both sets? Okay. All right, here a motion.
I move that.
Motion made by Alderman McCoy. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Betts. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right. Next thing we have is at this point of our meeting, we have open, Louisiana Public Open Meetings Law requires a public comments time at the beginning of an agenda for any comments the public might want to make on anything on our agenda. Is there anybody in the public that would like to make a comment at this time on anything on our agenda? If not, we're going to move on.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I'm with River City Hydraulics. We get down to.
Yeah, please.
Oh. I'm with River City Hydraulics. I'm a sales rep for them. When we get down to the discussion for the lease purchase on the garbage truck, I'm here to answer any questions that you may have about the bid that I turned in.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for taking your time to come and be interested enough to be here.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Because we might have a question for you. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Next thing we have, number one on our agenda is presentation of our financial statements for May of 2025 by Deborah Moak, our CPA and municipal accountant.
Tonight's financial statements include the balance sheet as of 5/31/2025, the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance for the 11 months ending 5/31/25. These financial statements have been distributed to all department heads and aldermen for their review. In summary, the town has combined cash in the bank of $3.5 million, included restricted funds of $1.6 million in the hydro fund and $740,000 in the sales tax fund. Investments amount to $35.5 million. The hydro fund has $33 million. The general fund has $1.7 million, and the ARPA fund has $736,000 invested. Total assets is $76 million. Total liabilities is $12.6 million for a combined fund balance of $63.4 million. The statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in fund balance for the 11 months ending 5/31/2025 indicates combined revenues of $51.3 million, total expenditures of $42.3 million, for a change in net position of $9 million. Currently, the town has combined total of $20.6 million invested in Louisiana Asset Management, earning 4.37% interest. All of these funds are the hydro funds restricted for projects, except $1.7 million of general funds. Approximately $12.7 million is invested at Delta Bank, earning 4.35% interest. Total revenue is at 98% of budget. Total personnel cost is at 92% of budget. Materials and supplies is at 92% of budget. and other services and charges are at 101% of budget. Capital outlay is over budget due to the water plant expansion. The construction cost paid so far is $3.8 million of a $9.8 million project. The project is funded through state capital outlay. The town's match is $83,000 through 5/31/2025. Interest paid on hydro investments in '23 amounted to $364.5 thousand. In 2024, interest was $828,000, and in 2025, interest accumulated through 5/31/2025 is $1.2 million, for a total of interest earnings just on the hydro funds over those 3-year period of $2.4 million. Approved hydro projects to date total $20 million. Of this amount, $13.3 million has been spent, leaving a balance of $6.8 million left to be spent. The hydropower cost for the month of April, May, and June was the maximum of $990,000 per month. Therefore, the hydro royalties the town will receive is $9.9 million, payable in late July or early August. The amended budget for the fiscal year 2024-25 is included in the budget to actual comparison for May. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Deborah. Any questions for Ms. Moat? Not, we're gonna move on. First thing we have is a occupational license. We have, we're gonna have a discussion vote on approval of occupational license for Learning Link Childcare LLC. Terrell Knight, is Terrell here? Hey, Terrell, you wanna come tell us a little bit about, how are you this evening? Good.
So my name is Terrell Knight. I'm native here to Vidalia. I've been in education for 15 years. I've done in-home childcare, so this is quite familiar to me, just a different avenue, I guess you can say, but I'm definitely excited about serving the community. So please vote yes.
Okay. I'm sure it probably won't be any problem. I think you're good.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody have a question for Terrell?
No questions. I'll say, she said 15 years. Yes, Tara, I know she was a former educator and she's great and amazing with kids. I'm not campaigning for her, but I do know that there's probably a lot of open spots for her. So if you have kids that's looking for somewhere to go, see Tara. Yeah, I support her 100%.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion we approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Alderman Garner, here a second.
I second it.
Second by Alderman McCoy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Terry. Next thing we have is discussion on setting the dates for 2 public hearings to receive public input on proposed projects and possible alternative uses of surplus hydro revenue.
Man, I'm sorry. Back to Tara. Sign. Did she? She didn't include a sign with that.
It's not in here.
Not yet.
She's got an application, but she hadn't had one turned in yet.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Okay. Discussion of setting dates on the 2 meetings for our surplus hydro revenues. Anybody have any preference? I think in the past, we've done them in August. Looking at the calendar of August, of course, we'd rather put them probably the third or last week of August.
Let's see. Let's
I would think either a 18th or 19th and a 21st, or a 25th and 26th, or 28th.
the 21st and 22nd is great for me.
Well,
Of August.
I'm talking, well, the 22nd is going to be a Friday.
Oh, okay.
The 18th and 19th is a Monday, Tuesday, and the 21st is a Thursday.
So
Or the
21st.
25th, 26th, which is a Monday, Tuesday, and the 28th being a Thursday. And the week before that, we've got council meetings, or we could have one the 13th or 14th and have another one the next week. Just whatever y'all's pleasure is. Anybody got a preference?
21st, like I said, is a good day for me, for one of the meetings.
Okay. All right, we're here the 21st for August. Anybody got another date? We got to have one more.
Okay, we do it on the Tuesday or the Monday on the 18th.
You can?
Let's do it on both in the same week.
Hmm.
Do them both in the same
Okay,
week.
all right, so you want to do the 18th or 19th? Y'all pick one, I'm
You said
good.
the 18th.
18th.
Okay, all right. Is that good? Are y'all okay with that? I don't think it's something requires a vote. We'll just set them up for the 18th and
Give the
21st.
date, give the dates.
18th and 21st of August. The 18th is a Monday and the 21st is a Thursday.
A time?
Time.
A time?
Late, 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock, okay?
Fine with me.
All right, 6 o'clock. So the 18th and 21st at 6 o'clock on each of those nights. Okay? All right. Next thing we have, item number 4 is the board discussion and vote to approve the police department personnel. Heath Edwards, full-time patrol officer, and I see Jimmy Watts is here with the PD. Has anybody got any questions of Jimmy or any questions? If not, I entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Alderman Smith, there's second by Alderman Betts. All in favor say aye. Anybody nay? Okay, passes. Next thing we have is board discussion and vote to approve Alderman travel for LMA annual convention. This year's convention is going to be July the 29th, 30th, and 31st in Lake Charles. And we put this on there. Any aldermen are expressing an interest to go, if they will let us know, we'll try to get them signed up. Anybody?
I will be in attendance. If something changes, I will let you know.
Okay. Alderman Gardner, anybody else?
I also plan on being in attendance.
Pardon?
I also plan on being in
Okay.
attendance.
Alderman McCoy and Alderman Gardner. Okay. All right. Let's work on getting that all set up this week if we could. Okay. All right. Next thing we have,
Are you gonna
Pardon?
vote, make a motion to approve?
okay, yeah, we can take, okay, have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Alderman Smith, our second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Betts. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, number 6, we have board discussion to vote to approve the bids for a lease purchase on a garbage truck for the town of Vidalia. Here we go. We got the bids. This one is from Scott Truck LLC out of Monroe's. Another important thing when we look at these is availability. I will say that. I think we maybe in the future as we get bids that we need to kind of specify, how quick we need something available. All right, this is a 30 pages. It came in at $125,500.
Lease purchase.
Yes. It was a lease. Okay. And again, I will premise this by saying that they must meet all the specs. Whichever one's accepted, it will be looked over real closely by our street department to make sure they're up to specs. This one is from, oh no. This is Pac-Man and on Commerce Drive in Bay Springs, Mississippi. And $224,200. And we have one more. This is River City Hydraulics, who is represented here tonight. And this one comes in at $232,000. And they are out of Sherwood, Arkansas, is that correct?
Right at Sherwood, Arkansas. We have a location at a dealership in Walker, Louisiana.
Walker, Louisiana,
Yes, sir.
which if anybody familiar with that, it's just south of Baton Rouge.
232.
It was $232,000.
Mayor, on the Scott truck bid,
Uh-huh.
is that the chassis with the rear loading? Was that all included? Was that the truck and the rear loading, garbage thing?
It was all on one, unless it was on a separate page.
All I got to say is, I've experienced this through the tree bid,
And it shows a lot of difference in those two and the other one.
That's why I
So,
just wanted to make sure that how they put their bid together, it just sounds,
Yeah.
you know.
On the Scott truck, they're an international dealer. We're a Heil body dealer. So we partnered up with Scott Truck for the body side of that. So their total cost should have been somewhere around $236,000 for that bid. That 125 number, that may be the lease amount.
Still, it's gotta be a bid.
Well, we
It's gotta
stand,
be
I
a
stand corrected. I was
comparable
looking,
bid.
I'm looking at the purchase agreement, which says $125,000.
That's with him.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I pulled the wrong one. Well, yeah, smart truck.
There was 30 pages in it. You better look
Yeah.
at them close.
See, that's what he's saying. They had.
That's what I do.
They had a deal with
Right.
them, so it's 235.
She said 236.
Well,
I know you had it.
yeah. It says, it's what I had right here, that's 125. There's a hopper. Total body,
Well, see, that's the total body.
Okay,
expense. You gotta put
125.
that one with this.
okay. Here it is.
Yeah, there is.
All right, their new, let's update their prices, $235,830.
230.
Little difference, huh?
Just a
Yeah,
little.
a lot.
Yeah, I was thinking, well, that's a big difference. I'm going like, whoa.
And may I ask on the PacMac bid, did they have any sort of lead time on that truck?
What's your lead time?
So we can get it in 30 to 45 days.
Now, this was the, I mean, whose did you want?
Batman.
Pac-Man?
224.
You take some of that and I'll take some of it. Excuse me. Well, their pricing does not include them delivering it, but it don't say. Well, it says delivery term, says immediately ARC and ARO. Lead time start when Hallmark receives both PO and chassis at our facility. So who knows when that would be? You see anything in there?
Nope.
Sorry, I was taking a minute. A lot of papers. And again, all this is subject to us verifying everything.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean,
I
we
was
should
just,
know that. I mean,
yeah, I was just
we're not going
curious.
to tell you tonight one way or another.
Yeah, I was just curious if they had it in the bid.
We will have to talk and get
Yeah.
those things firmed up for sure.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate you
it.
being here.
Yep. Okay,
Didn't leave a card or anything.
the next thing we have
Didn't leave a card.
is the introduction of an
You gotta
ordinance.
vote, Mayor.
Pardon?
You gotta vote.
Yeah.
Like previous, is there any kind of way, once you decide which one we go with, can we go and look that vehicle over before we purchase, so we purchase?
Probably to look at the one you're getting you won't, because until you make a deal to get it, they're not going to deliver or,
That's what I'm saying, if they got one that's close to where I could drive it, put it through motion.
yeah.
If we get a lot of them, and then once we get here, this is acting up, that's acting up, and we got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because we done signed the lease.
Frank, that that wouldn't, because we got to get a PO once the board approves it, and that's the only time they're going to start building it. And we're committed then,
Right.
you know.
And so we're gonna be another 30 days looking this over at their bids and verifying which one that the cheapest bid meets all our specs. And if it doesn't, to tell you that, I think once the deal's done, it's done. Now, if they deliver something that's not the spec, then that's on them. We don't have to accept it if it's not the bid specs. But I mean, I certainly see your point. So, okay, moving on. First,
You gotta make a motion and vote.
okay,
You gotta make a motion to vote to approve.
I make the motion to approve the bid that meets all specs that we require.
Second.
okay. Alderman Gardner made the motion, second by Alderman
Proof.
Probst. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. I'll get y'all's names right here sooner or later. All right, number 7, we have introduction of an ordinance amending ordinance number 700, establishing and adopting electric power, gas, water, sewer, and garbage rates for the town of Vidalia, Louisiana, and repealing all previously adopted ordinances dealing with said rates by revising the schedule for water rates. This is an introduction only, no discussion. Okay, next thing we have is public hearing of an ordinance to amend ordinance number 588 governing the use of revenues derived from the town of Vidalia's participation in the Sidney A. Murray Jr. Hydroelectric Generation Station to pay expenses related to LIPA Unit Number 1. And this is to enter public hearing. I have to have a motion to enter public hearing. Do I hear a motion?
Make the motion.
Motion made by Alderman Probst. Here a second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Gardner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're now in public hearings. Anybody got a comment on what's being on the agenda tonight in regards to that? Okay. No questions. Do I hear a motion we exit public hearing?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner. Here a second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Probst. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We now are exited out of public hearing. Now we're going to have board discussion and vote to approve an ordinance to amend ordinance number 588 governing the use of revenues derived from the town of Vidalia's participation in the Sidney A. Murray Jr. Hydroelectric Generation Station to pay expenses related to LIPA Number 1. Has the council got any questions on this?
We discussed this one time before.
We did.
And the point made was that we will use only what we need for as long of a period, correct? Still the same that we discussed prior to this?
Right. And for the ones that, just a real quick, what's going on here? The town voted back when we got ARPA funds, you want to be as equitable as you can to distribute those amongst your electorate or your town. And we had chosen during the summer months to pay that LIPA Number 1 bill or invoice that was people were paying in their utility bill. Basically, people didn't know it, but we were saving them a pretty good amount of money each month as a total, anywhere from $100,000 to $120,000 a month that we used ARPA money to pay that bill during the summer months when the utility bill hits you so hard, especially on people on fixed incomes and stuff. Well, LIPA Number 1, I've been very candid. It hadn't been a very good deal for any of the owners of it because it's been stayed and broke down. It's broke down now. And it's been broke down since August of 2024 and was supposed to be back online in December of 2024. Still offline, and GE, who made the turbine, there's a part they're saying now they can't get till December. We don't even know if they're going to get it then. I will be on a phone call Thursday with counsel for LIPA, a lot of LIPA staff, and GE on discussing what we can do moving forward. Could involve litigation, don't know, but it could be strung out for some time. However, in the meantime, the MISO sale, rather than trying to get bogged down, MISO controls our energy grid, especially in this territory, okay? And that LIPA Number 1, since we belong to it, we furnish load that MISO would put into the market. So we had load that we had of our own that we didn't have to buy, okay? But since this auction goes down, I think it's in May or June, we didn't have load. Those municipalities that own it don't have load that we could put into the market. So what do we have to do? We're going to have to buy it. And it's expensive when you buy it on the market. So what, not only were, and this is going to start July 1, not only are the people going to see an increase because we're having to purchase that load in their bill, we also, unless we do this, because the ARPA money, we about used it all, it's not there available, and the plant's not going to be generating, your utility bill for this summer and through the hot months was really going to jump up. And I thought, and I think the council's agreeable, that this would be the thing to do to help absorb some of that, is to keep on paying that LEPA number 1 invoice and take it out of hydro funds. And because we're going to see a little increase, that the town's not doing that. That's strictly coming, that's what the market rate's going to be. It's going to be a little bit more. But everybody's going to get hit with that. It's got to buy a load. So this is going to help offset that and help our citizens bear that when the time they're going to be paying their highest utility bills with the summer going on. So anybody have any questions on that? I mean, yes. Pardon? Well, if we approve this, we're going to put it into it immediately. We'll go ahead and start this. I'll have to get with our utility office, because we have different cycles. We have 2 different books, what they call, that they read meters twice a month. There's the what do you call it? The first one.
You got a 1 and a 4 and a 2 and a 3.
Oh, there's 4 of them then. So okay. So there's 4, and they're all read at different times in the different areas of town. So we're going to try to get it implemented quick as we can, before people start getting hit too hard with it. And I don't even know what that's going to look like yet, because we haven't got our first bill from LEPA yet since this goes into effect. Okay? Yes, we'll know about what it's going to help, increase our costs pretty much. So what people have to realize, the town has not raised any rates since 2011. Okay? The town has not raised anybody's rates. Now, those rates fluctuate because to buy power to sell back to you, that fluctuates. We can't help that. That's like you go into the gas station. As oil goes up or down and gas goes up or down, the gas station's making the same spread, whether it's 1 or 2 pennies or whatever. They're not making that extra money when you go to the service station. Those people aren't seeing it. That's just the retailer that's selling it. But they have to pay to get it to turn around and sell it back. Same thing with us buying power to our citizens. So when people see that, we have no control over it. But your rates have not been increased since 2011. And I think the town has done a great job of managing this, so people, because we've gone through inflation, we've gone through, just the cost of living increases for all this time, and we still have not raised any rates. Now, we're introducing a water increase, but that is mandated on us by the state because we're not hitting the sustainability factor. We're actually losing money selling you the water because we're not charging you enough. Okay? And now the state's not going to give money to municipalities that aren't making or sustaining their system. So if you're not making a profit on it, you won't get any kind of state funding, which we know the state just gave us $9 million to do it, right at $9 million to double our water plant. So that would be money we wouldn't have got, if this legislation was in place before they approved that.
But you also got to say that our rates are still way below anybody.
Yeah, our rates, even with
our water rates, are
even
way
with
low.
your increase, what you're going to be seeing on your water rate, your minimum rate,
And better water than anybody else.
it's going to be anywhere from maybe $8 to $10 a month, but your total minimum might be still $30. And I promise you, the minimum anywhere else is 60, double. And I promise you, they don't have good water like we got. So we're really in good shape here in Vidalia. So, and I will give hats off to Cornell and all of his crew at the water plant. Out of a possible score of 105, we got 103. Is that correct?
He's going to do better next year.
A plus. It's the best of the best. So thank you, Cornell, and the work y'all do at the water plant.
You can get 105.
So, any more questions? As council, if anybody's not wanting any more questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I move that we move forward.
Okay. Alderman McCoy votes to approve the ordinance, to amend the ordinance number 588. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Probst. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next thing we have is board discussion and vote to approve a resolution authorizing the transfer of interest revenue derived from the investment of royalties from the Sidney A. Murray Jr. Hydroelectric Station to the town's general fund for all non-utility municipal services pursuant to ordinance number 588. And basically what that is, we have a lot of money that we've invested that's never been there before. And the 588 ordinance right now allows you to use one of these, I think it's item number 6, allows you to use it for any non-utility purpose if there's a deficit in a fund that you need it for any non-utility. It's got to be a non-utility. You can't use that to get back to your electrical system or your any other utility because state law requires, as we talked about earlier, that you show a profit in all your utilities. So if you're taking special revenue funds and supplementing that, that's against state, that's against the Constitution. So you can't do that. But for non-utility, general fund, anything like that, you can use those funds if you have a shortage. The interest we're earning now on this is the ordinance is silent on the interest, but we just want to clear it up that it can be, it's not saying we're going to use it, but it can be if we have a shortage in something or if we need it for something, it can be for a non-utility purpose. And that's what this is basically firming up. Is there any question on it? This is just strictly a resolution authorizing transfer of this. Any questions? I hear a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Alderman Best. Here a second.
I second.
Second by Alderman McCoy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is any opposed? Okay. Last thing we have on our agenda is board discussion and vote related to any changes to the town employee pay rates. The last budget meeting we had, I think we might have been remiss that we didn't really have a clear idea of what we wanted to do yet with as far as the any kind of pay increases, whether the council wanted to do any kind of merit raises across the board, and that's y'all's pleasure. That's one of your responsibilities to approve those. We'll listen to recommendations. We'll talk about them. I think the aldermen have an idea of what they would like to see us do, then we'll talk about them. Or if they want us to leave them like they are. I mean, we last few years, we've been giving raises, I think, every year. Have we missed a year in the last 3 years, 4 years?
Nope.
So my question before Tommy get ready,
I didn't get a raise.
my question is,
I didn't get a raise in a
are
long
the
time.
department heads doing the merit raises? Can y'all that are here that are department heads? Can y'all attest that y'all are giving merit raise to employees who are going above and?
There have been circumstances where yes, but it's within budget. If they were, we have done that, yes. But that we haven't done any kind of increases to speak of in the last probably several months, I would think.
Because that I haven't received phone calls from people in my district per se, but people have called me outside of my district asking, is merit raises being given? And I didn't know to answer, so that's why I wanted to hear from department heads. Were they potentially giving those raises within their departments?
We do the evaluations in case the people who are eligible, should they come up, the ones who deserve it, that we do an evaluation, so with the mayor and the board or anyone would like to see it, we do those sheets.
So you have a format.
Yeah.
And that's
Are all departments using those format? That's my question.
All of them do come in. I mean, Johnny brings in, Cornell will bring in, all of them are brought in. I mean, this is done, I've never, without their recommendation, that I know of, that I've done that. But it does require the department, because they're with these guys out there in the field, I do have some of the workers walk in off the street and want raises. Well, what's the first thing I do? I call the supervisor and talk to him, and I find out, well, maybe they're tardy, maybe they're doing this, maybe they're doing that. Or else, hey, those are good guys, they're jammed up, and we'll talk about it. We'll come up with a figure, as long as it's within budget, and we'll do it. And we have done that in the past. And it don't matter whether it's fire department, police department, utility department, street sanitation, we've done that. So,
Bobby's got a question.
So is there a standard evaluation form that you use?
No, I just sort of incorporated one, just criteria of what through the years, what I was expected of me as an employee. So I sort of incorporate that on evaluating the ones who are doing the job.
Okay, so it's not,
It's not
So that was my specific question just a second ago, and I got a yes, and now I'm getting a no. So my question is this: is there a standard evaluation form for merit raises?
No.
And
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say that.
I
thought
sure
heard-
said it, and
I
it
just
sure
heard,
didn't come back the way I said it.
I heard
So,
you, I thought you asked have we done that? I mean, have
No,
we given?
I mean, every department should be evaluated on the same merit raise, right? Do y'all think that's like everybody should be the same, right? I think I like that. Yeah, I like everybody treated the same. That's my motto. That's everybody.
Because it's
So,
what it
and the
also-
only way you're gonna do that, my speaking now is, just a second, is by making a form that says you meet these evaluation points. Now, if you don't have that, then it ain't, nobody's gonna have the same. It can't be. It can't be. And I say there should be. If you're gonna do merit raise, there should be an evaluation form. I don't care who, any human resource, we don't even have do we have a human resource officer?
Not any number.
Not any longer, no, but we got a big
We-
organization here. Now, I'm gonna
we're-
speak, wait just a minute.
Well, you just asked
I'm gonna
me, I'm
speak-
answering your question now.
I'm-
You asked if we had one.
I saw a lot of no's, and I saw it from Jay, and I said, okay, well, I got it now. So, my point is, why don't we, as a town of Vidalia, with all these employees, no human resource officer, if you have an organization as big as we are, that's an important position. And we've talked about it a lot, a lot, but nobody seems to have but that's a form that could be put together by whoever. They could put an evaluation on each and every employee equally in the town of Vidalia, so everybody can have the same opportunity to have an evaluation. And those evaluations, as I've talked before, I'm going to say what I said before, I've talked about it before, are these evaluations being done by all departments? And I got a yes, but there's no form that says we got it. So how are they all being done if nobody's got a standard form that they can do them by? So my question is, what do we have to do to get that form established and make it happen?
And to me,
Now, I'm done.
no, to me with the form, whether I'm a good employee or a bad employee, it tells me what I need to work on,
Exactly.
what I'm lacking in, what I'm doing absolutely wonderful, what I don't have to worry so much about doing. It gives that employee self-confidence to know this is what we need to work towards getting for the next following year.
And you're right, because that's in my postal career. I'm gonna go back to my postal career. I was a supervisor. Yeah, I evaluated people, but they were all evaluated the same. They were all evaluated on these certain specific things in their job. Now, you have an evaluation form that says something about the sanitation department and another one electrical, but they all are about the same thing.
Can I've been in some
I was going to answer
meetings.
the question. He asked 2 or 3 questions during his
Yeah,
comments, but
I was just gonna quick. Now, y'all answer any question you want to. Now.
I'd like to start. Let me start. When I said that there's evaluations done, these men sitting in this room are my evaluation because they're the ones that would be doing the evaluating. And Cornell, is it going to be a burden on you to just get an evaluation and you go sit down with every one of your men and sit down with them? I'm just asking. Would it? Johnny? Chief ain't here. Frank, would it? I mean, to sit down and tell every man what they going to do? Do they do better or do they get mad?
It's about a way for it.
All I'm saying is we have personnel files. If these men aren't doing their job, we have evaluations that's in their personnel file where they're tardy, where they're late, what they did. That's when I say we have an evaluation process. Is it not working what we're doing now? I mean, I'd love for the department heads to speak up because they're the ones that's going to have to spend their time.
And I want to say one thing before we even go further.
Well,
It's just as important to evaluate a good employee as a bad employee. Does that make any sense to anybody? Yes, a good employee needs to sit down just like a bad employee. Everybody needs to know how they are operating. That's part of personnel. You don't just get the guy that's that bad guy. You get the good guy. You take him in. Is it a burden? Well, let me tell you something about a burden on a manager. And that's what aggravates me so much. A burden on a manager is your job, is to evaluate and determine what those employees are doing. As a supervisor, as a manager, that's your job. And if it's a burden, then maybe you don't need to be a supervisor. That's my point, because it takes work and it takes a lot of time to be a manager, a good manager. Now I'm done again. Now keep going.
I evaluate my employees every day.
Okay?
Okay, that is what I have supervisors for. I talk to my supervisors all the time. I ask them, what about such and such? How's he doing? How's he progressing? I mean, for as a sit down, with a form, we don't do that. But I do have that relationship with my supervisors, and I trust them enough to give me a real, true, honest answer with these employees.
Okay, you do it every day. But once a year evaluation, I didn't do every day. I did just like you said, every day. I evaluate my employees I was a supervisor. But every year somebody needs to take 1 day or 1 hour or 1 30-minute period and sit down with that employee, every employee, and tell them how they are doing. Are you doing good? Absolutely. Are you doing bad? I don't like you telling me that. So that's the point I'm making. Can we take that 30 minutes? Can we take that 15 minutes? Can we take that employee and show him that we care about him, or we care about him enough to, like Frank said, make him mad because he's not doing his job? Yeah. Or tell him he's doing great and make him happy that I recognize you are a good employee. Now, and what you're saying is, yeah, you do every day. That's your job too. But also in that job is to get an evaluation and a time frame that you meet with those people. Not you necessarily, but your supervisor, whoever it is. Okay, go ahead.
So you want it on a piece of paper?
I didn't say on a piece. Yeah, I'd like to see it because yes, I would like it on a piece of paper in the sense of yes, because that's documentation. As a supervisor, documentation is your weapon as far as good or bad.
I'm going to interject here, and then I think we'll discuss what we're really here to discuss, which is pay rate or not. Number one, when you hear anybody talk in the state or anywhere around about the services and the employees of the town of Vidalia, who's number one? Who? Vidalia. How in the heck are we doing it without doing evaluations? How are we doing it? I want to know. Somebody tell me, how are we the best of the best?
But it's not about that, Mayor.
No.
It's not about that.
All the employees are under my supervision. They're subordinate to me. And I count on these men out there in the field working with these guys every day. And when I have the citizens calling me, and I do tell our workers they're doing a great job. Everybody we blow them up all the time in the press. We do it on social media. We tell them they're higher paid than any other municipal worker in the state as well. Whether they're on the back of that truck, the front of it, or hanging off of, whatever, to work off a tractor working. They're some of the best paid workers. Matter of fact, Mayor Natcher sitting in my office today, we was talking. What did he say, Cornell? He said, we can't have a street and sanitation because Vidalia's got the best of the best. All the best people want to go to Vidalia to work there.
Yep.
So why, if it's working and has been for a long time, is any supervisor here or department head want to take on this task to do that? Anybody? I mean, I'm game if you're down to do it. Bobby, go ahead.
I only asked that question because I want to make sure I wasn't missing out somewhere, that I was supposed to be filling out a form that I didn't know about.
No, you're not. I think Frank's trying to be conscientious. I think he might be took this on his own to do that. And that's fine. I have no problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. But when I ask Frank, if he brings somebody in to me, if it's a merit raise, what am I going to do, Frank? I'm going to ask you about him now.
You want to know job performance, punctuality, cleanliness of the vehicles, he give you a rundown. He wants to know, how they perform. So
What's your second?
I worked in the medical field for 18 years, and in that I was manager in one hospital. We works in Mississippi, I had 75 employees. Each employee was evaluated on their anniversary day. In that time frame, if I was hired on July 9th, there was a time frame that evaluation had to be in. And the evaluation form came from hospital administration. And the guidelines that they used was a job description. But each employee, it was a must. Each employee had in their file every year a copy of how well they did for that year. What were their weaknesses and what were their strengths?
Right.
What would they like to see us do to make them better?
Right.
You put it in paper, and another thing that helped, if a bad employee was being terminated and wanted their unemployment, it took us to court.
Correct.
Pulled out all those evaluations.
I promise you, if somebody's terminated, we've got the write-ups. We've got what we need.
We did a merit evaluation every year.
Okay.
It can be done.
Example, somebody does great, 4 years, #1 employee, nothing but great write-ups. He goes, develops a problem, whatever it might be, and he ain't worth a flip. And he does some things that you start writing him up for. And then you have to terminate him. Well, when he gets out of turning, you've got a file full of, oh, he's great. Y'all's picking on him. Now you can't get, how good's his case gonna look? With these evaluations, they were just a standard, oh, he's doing good, he's doing good. What do you think of the attorney? Brad's an attorney. What would an attorney do? Would you go back and look at those personnel files? Huh? Come on.
Okay,
And the medical profession is different than the city of Vidalia, because medical profession is one of the highest sued people in the world. And if you got an employee there that's not good, and they need to have some kind of record, because
Even here, an employee can get evaluated on that hiring.
But again, I'm going back to the fact, my career, my unionized, and if I didn't, believe me, and this is the key to firing an employee, you don't want to fire an employee. An employee fires himself. In the post office, I went through 6 steps. 6 steps. And I got beat. No, I got moved on, because you had to give them this, you had to give them this, you had to give them this. You don't want to lose an employee that you put time and effort into. You want to better that employee. But eventually, if he doesn't want to better himself, even though he did do really good for a long, long time, believe me, I've been in arbitration cases where, I fought with people from Atlanta Union, from every place else, sitting at a table. I never lost a one. And you know why? Because I had that piece of paper that's documented exactly what took place. And that's key. Now, you can use the paper or not, because I'm just an alderman. I'm not in personnel. But I do know what I'm talking about. And I do know that it is not a burden, as the word was used, for a manager to have documentation. That is your job. And I'll say that from now till gone. So,
Mayor, I was just going to say this in my meetings, and I think Ms. Wilson and her clerk meetings can say, and especially Brad. Any labor attorney meeting we've been at, they caution against a, quote, standard evaluation form. Why? Because it's subject to subjectivity and bias, just like any other. And the thing is how are you going to set the evaluation form up? Are you going to grade them by numbers? Are you going to grade them by writing out comments? And it just leaves the employer open in this legal environment this day. I think Brad maybe to suits. And so we hesitate. We do evaluations just like Cornell, all the time. But to have a standard form that you have in their file is today, in today's world, it's a dangerous situation. So I'm just saying, going by meetings, I think Pye can confirm this. They say tread lightly with some type of so-called standard evaluation form.
But I'm not saying a standard form in the sense of, yes, everybody's the same, because he's going to be different from the electrical. It's not going to be a standard form. It's a form that, just like she said, use your job description. That's a standard everything. You can use your job description. That tells you everything you should be doing. But again, I just brought this up because I think it's something that could be used. If you don't think it's that way, that's fine with me. It has been like that.
One of the things, Alderman Probst, is, for example, if Frank's going to evaluate employees, he might be from that old school. Ain't nobody an A. Ain't nobody perfect. Ain't nobody good. Nobody getting over a C in my class. Bobby Paul back there might be, I love my guys, even though they don't come to work on time. I want what's best for them, all A's. So now, department-wise, we're going to look to there. Bobby's sitting with all A's, and Frank's sitting there with all C's. What's the interpretation there? It's not an even playing field for people. And like I said, we haven't had any problems. It's working. Now, let's talk about what we're supposed to be talking about. What do y'all want to do as far as pay? Do you want to do it across the board? Do you want to say, hey, let's put out $150,000, you get with all the supervisor, and y'all get together and pick out your guys you want to give it to? It don't matter to me. I'm going to do what y'all want to do on that. But as far as administration of these employees, the way they're doing, they're knocking it out of the park with these guys.
I'll say one thing. Like you guys have done, across the board raises, it has made it easier in one sense. And if we've had any problems with anyone that has received a raise and shouldn't have been accepted one or what have you, it usually works itself out because they either usually quit or they do get terminated because of the bad habits. And we do write that up and it is in their file if they do something bad. All my guys know that my office door is always open. They have any problem, they come in. Every time I see them, if they do something, I tell them how great the job they done. So they're getting their attaboys. Y'all have given them attaboys the last 3 years in a row by giving them across the board raise. If they do something wrong and they're told about it, they get a write-up warning, and they also get a write-up written up warning that goes in the file as well. So if it is termination that comes up, we have that ground for it. But you guys have been given across the board raise, and that tells everybody that they're doing a great job. And ones might not be deserving of it, like I said, they'll work themselves out eventually. And it makes it a whole lot better for everyone else.
When you don't give one a raise, why didn't I get it? You like him better than you do me. I'm doing the same job. You didn't raise me up, but you didn't give me a raise.
Can we talk on this?
And now I'm gonna throw one more thing, and then let's talk about what we're here today. At the end of the day, we've got all these evaluation forms. Now we got these people that's not as good, and you got some that's good. Are y'all gonna want to look at them? Y'all want to see them? You can't. You can't see their evaluation forms. So how are you gonna make a decision?
But their individual evaluation should be confidential. If they do, receive the merit, you should talk to them and say, hey, look, I see where you are processing and everything is great. But yeah, so this is between me and you that you're getting this, not telling y'all that y'all not doing it. We just, trying to make things right. If it's anything any T's that need to be crossed, any I's that need to be dotted, just to make everything work smoother for you all. I'm personally not saying that I think you all do an amazing job. I like what is going on, but if there's anything that we can ever bring to the table to make things better for the department head, why not share that information?
And we try to do that with them, or we do it more on an individual basis with them, where we are personal with them. We know their personal lives and what's going on in their personal lives, and they come to us and talk to us as well. And if we feel like they're not talking to us, we try to open up to them more where they will talk to us.
Right. Exactly what he's saying. What makes us special is that we are different. I mean, not different, but we sure don't want to be the post office. I mean, nothing against Tommy, but we don't want to turn town into the post office for sure. But
what's wrong with post office? That's my career, man. I'm talking about my career.
Well, that's what I want these guys to think. I want these guys to think they have a career, not a job. And I look across here and I see grown, responsible people that pick each other up every day. And I mean, you see it every day after a storm, whatever. Good leaders don't need a pat on the back.
the ones that aren't as good employees, yeah, put something in their file, but yeah, let's don't mess up a good thing. I agree with that.
Mayor Crab,
Mhm.
to my counterparts and the department heads that are here tonight, the dissension that's possible when you say he's better than him, I'm willing to alleviate that as being a problem to you all this year. And I ask that this board this year, the rest of this fiscal year, do an across the board raise, and whatever we need to do to dot our I's and cross our T's to give the department heads what they need to make competent decisions on who gets a raise in the future. Let's do that then, because we got a couple people doing the same thing, but we don't have a standard. And at some point, the standard is going to be the standard. And we're hearing from legal that it's not even good. Well, Jay said that it's not even good to keep a cheat sheet on what's really going on with an employee. So I think it's up to us to work out the kinks here. But as far as the raise, let's give an across the board raise.
Got a percentage?
I don't want to do that.
Don't just bring us a
We
problem.
got to
bring
have
us
some
a solution.
direction. And look, I whatever the board wants to do as far as budget wise, whether it's a portion of money, whether it's a percentage across the board, that's your call. Our people will have to work within that. And we'll make sure they work within that. And I got confidence they'll work within that. I got confidence in every single person with this town that works for the town and the people that are guiding them and leading them on a daily basis. We've got great people. We get letters all the time of people, the jobs they're doing. I mean, look, if you gave a raise every time you got a compliment for your employees in town, you'd be broke. You couldn't afford your bills if you paid them what they were.
Miss Deborah or Jay, do you know last year what the raise increased the payroll?
It was 3, wasn't it?
No, but when I'm talking about dollars, I'm talking.
Oh, you talking about a dollar amount?
A dollars amount.
Well, we looked at it just for the budgeted numbers going for this next
It's
year.
nearly 200,000, I think.
Yeah, it was like, but total payroll was 12 million.
Okay.
So you would just take a percent, well, that would just, no, we looked at, because that would be benefits and all. when we looked
Yeah,
at
that's
12
benefits and
million.
all.
So it's probably going to be.
After
less
salaries,
than
I think
that.
you're 9 something.
To me, yeah. Don't really know.
I'm just going from memory.
I was just wondering what the
much
dollar
money
was.
it
The
would take.
mayor asked for, if you want to put a dollar amount, you work within that or whatever. I think if you do that, I mean, you're talking about merit. If you do that, because you're going to be dividing it up based on merit. Now, I will say this, personally, I'm not generally for across the board raise. Because 1% of a high end salary is different than a 1% of a little lower. I've never been in favor of that, but I am in favor of merit raises. I trust these guys that are supervisors because they work with them. They do that. They should be able to make a recommendation to the administration that this guy is doing his job.
And
They
they
should
do.
also
They do.
make the recommendation that this guy's not doing his job, but maybe we need to help him improve a little bit. So if you, I hope you understand, if we say $200,000, then that's merit raises. That's not across the board raise, that's merit raise. Because they're gonna have to decide how you gonna split that money up.
Correct.
So I would be more in favor of that. You know, if we did, that's the reason why I asked you, how much did the last one
And,
cost
and
us?
John, if you did allocate 200, there might not be $200,000 worth of merit raise,
Right,
according to the supervisor.
right,
So I just want you to be aware of that.
right. But
So, and again, it's y'all's call. Y'all come up with something, we'll vote on it, or else we can take it up at another meeting, whichever one y'all want to do.
if Alderman McCoy wants to suggest a percentage, suggest it.
I don't think we got enough clarity right here. I think we need to table it, come back and talk about it again because, you know, I'm not for a raise. You do it. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, I'm
Ms.
not.
Deborah,
I'm not. We've given good raises. We've
how
given
much
good
was the
raises,
raise?
good benefits,
What was
good
the
time off on
of the raise?
Friday. We've given a
5%?
lot lately. Not to say it's not, that you're not good, not to say that, but we can only
3.
go so far. And again, the merit part of it, I don't have a problem with, but across the board raises got to stop some point in time. I mean, these been going on for a while and that affects a lot of things, not just your money, retirements, all those kind of things that come on long term. So that's just, I'm stating what I feel. So,
Okay.
letting you know.
Okay.
On a lighter note, when I ask my mother where she wants to go eat, she says, where you want to go eat? It's like, hey, then we go back and forth with what you want to do. What do y'all want to do?
Okay.
Where do you want to go?
Ms. Deborah, it was 5%. Okay, we comfortable with 2.5.
What's that now?
We're
You
comfortable
gonna
with,
make that motion?
I move that we give across the board at 2.5.
All right.
I'll say.
Motion made by Alderman McCoy that we have a 2.5% increase across the board
I'll second.
for all employees. Second is made by Alderman Betts.
I got one question. Is
Okay,
this,
well,
is
we
this,
have discussion of it, which,
the cost of living raise, or is this just a merit raise, or do they get a,
this would be a cost of living raise.
what, do we know what percentage that is?
2.8%. Now, do you know how many dollars we're talking about?
No, the percentage of
2.8%. I mean, 2.5%, excuse me. 2.5%.
We got 5 last year.
Okay. Any more questions? All right, well, let's do a roll call vote, please.
Motion offered by Alderman McCoy to give an across-the-board raise of 2.5%. It was second by Alderman Betts. Alderman Gardner,
I'm first. Oh, yes.
Alderman McCoy,
Yes.
Alderman Probst,
No.
Alderman Smith,
I got a question. Can I ask, when does this go into effect?
Immediately.
Okay, that's the only thing I have against, like, Tommy wants to table it. I hate to play games with people's payroll when they need money. I don't, you know, if we're gonna give them a raise, let's give them a raise.
Immediately.
Yeah, it's
I
immediate.
vote yes.
Alderman Betts.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries me.
All right. Do I hear a motion we adjourn?
I'll make that
Motion
motion.
made by Alderman McCoy here, second.
Second.
Yeah.
Second by Alderman Betts.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. We stand adjourned. Thank y'all.